nicknames.
Nicknames. Yeah, I got a
Okay.
couple nicknames.
I know. I mean, do you got clean ones? I can tell you a story. I can tell you a story. Okay,
All right.
about
Okay.
nicknames.
Okay, let's get this going. Hey,
Okay.
everybody. I'm Wade,
Hey, and I'm Shay.
and welcome to Wade&Shea.
Yeah, the one place where we don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Wade, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I think I'm going to turn this on you, but we're kind of talking about maybe nicknames. So I'm
Okay,
gonna,
nicknames.
I know you got some for nicknames, so I'll let you go.
I do. Well, I have, you know, um, in the industry I'm in, tradesmen nicknames. There's some raunchy ones and some that aren't deserving. But there's a couple of things I learned about nicknames, and there's some good ones, right? Like this one guy I worked with, his nickname was Hammer. Like, what a nickname! Like that's awesome nickname I want, right? Like,
Yeah.
how come no one called me Hammer? And he was just this big guy, and him and I worked on a crew together, and every once in a while you'd hear on the radio, Hammer, you got a copy, and he'd go, yeah, Hammer here, and they're like, yeah, we need your help, and he'd always say, do you need my brain or do you need my back? It'd be quiet for a second. You're back. He's like, yeah, that's what I figured. He's just as big an ox of a guy. Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome nickname. But one thing I did learn about is that you can't assign yourself your own nickname, and there's
No.
danger in signing your own nickname. So here I am. I'm a construction superintendent. And I'm sitting in the trailer, and I have my office at one end of these construction trailers, and then all of the tradesmen are sitting in the other one having their coffee in the morning and their lunch breaks are all in this other side of the trailer.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I hire this young apprentice, and he shows up, and I'm in my office, and I kind of can overhear conversations that go on in the other room. So I'm in my office doing whatever I was doing, and this young guy comes in, and a young apprentice sets his lunchbox on the table and goes, "Hi, I won't say, I don't remember actually what his name was. Let's just say hi, I'm John Smith, but everyone calls me Scoops, Scoopz." And he had a Scoops written right on the side of his lunchbox. And I remember just leaning back and looking out the door going, what are these guys going to do to this kid? Oh, and
Uh,
they looked at him and said, you can't assign yourself your own nickname. How about we call you Pooper Scooper? Right? And those guys called him Pooper Scooper until he quit. They
oh,
wouldn't they wouldn't let up.
yeah.
they, they, they wouldn't. They
You
wouldn't
don't
stop.
tell.
You'd hear
You,
you'd hear you'd hear it on the radio. Hey, 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 they even shortened it to Pooper. Hey, Pooper, do you have a copy? I'm like, oh, poor kid. How do I save him from it? Like, yeah, he eventually just walked off site. He couldn't take it, and,
yeah.
and this other guy, he was nicest guy we hired, and he came, and we didn't have anything to put his name on his hard hat, and so he his name was Chuck, and so he just took a paint marker and just wrote Chuck on his hard hat, so we all knew who Chuck's hard hat. Now you might be thinking, okay, someone's gonna someone's going to change it from Chuck to something inappropriate, but no, it wasn't. What he'd rubbed it, well, during the work week. He had rubbed his hard hat against something. It might have been some scaffolding or something while he's working, or some piping, and it went from Chuck to Cluck. So he just walked around with Cluck on his hat, and the guys saw it, and they called him Cluck until he quit. He did.
Hey,
He
Cluck.
couldn't take it. He would fight it every time they called him Cluck. He would fight it. And I'm like, listen, Cluck. all of all of 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 all of the nicknames that you can get, Cluck is a good name. Like, it'd
Yeah,
be why not be called Cluck? It's recognizable. People would even know your your original name. They would just start calling you Cluck. What's wrong with
yeah,
that? You couldn't take it. And
no.
believe it or not, about 2 years after that, I was on another site and I actually hired a guy and his last name was Cluck.
Was
I
it
think his
him?
name, I think no, this guy, it
Oh,
was just another guy, and I believe his name was, I don't know what it was, Ken Cluck or what. It was just, but his last name was Cluck.
yeah.
And I'm like, that poor guy. They called him Cluck until he walked off the site, and I was like, poor guy. Like I
Yeah.
would have taken Cluck. Like I don't know. Have you had nicknames?
Oh no. My gosh.
No, no.
The it's yeah, it's just a matter of what kind of era growing up is my nickname, but same thing. Growing up in the trades, you just got to go with it. And if you just leave it be, it may or may not stick. People get if they get no reaction, you know that it's probably just going to die.
Yeah,
But as soon as one person, only one, gets a good laugh out of it, it's
yeah,
stuck. And
yeah,
that it's just pretty much gone viral. It's exactly what it'll be. It's gone viral within construction. So
yeah.
let me tell you, man, I got you just saying that in construction. At first when we're talking, you're like, hey, nicknames, right? I was kind of thinking about my own nicknames, and then I'm like, yeah, I never did get a nickname in the workforce.
Well, that's because Wade doesn't really rhyme with anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I
Like,
was okay with that because the nicknames that were getting dished out, I was all right with not having one.
yeah, you're okay with just being Wade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the group of guys that I was, for my
yeah.
trade. So, yeah, they're always a little bit rough around the edges, a little bit, so they always had some good ones and ones that
Were they mean?
some for sure, yeah, absolutely, but
Yeah.
and but some stuck, I know nicknames. I don't even know the guy's name. I just remember the nickname, right?
I know
And
the same. Like
right,
Reds.
so
How many Reds do you know? Right?
yeah,
Like I don't know what their name is. They have red hair, they have red hair. So some really creative guy said, "Your name's Red.
yeah,
Oh,
hey,
you're big and tall. Your name's Tiny."
exactly. Hey, Red. No, yeah, makes sense, right? You know what's funny about that though? There's always like one or two guys. They're always the ones that they made the nicknames. It's like
Yeah, it was their
it's like
job,
yeah, it was. And it's like you didn't get a nickname unless you got a nickname from them,
right?
right? And it wouldn't stick. But as soon as these guys, because they were funny, as soon as these guys would like call them something, we just like, that's it, man. So anyways, this one guy comes into work. He's an apprentice, right? And we're just in the boot room, just kind of waiting, right? And waiting for a toolbox to start or something, right? And so he just like decided like, hey, he's trying to fit in. So he's like, hey guys, on the way to work today, I saw two mooses.
Mooses.
Yeah, he's like, I saw two mooses just off the road, and that was it.
Oh, oh.
It's exactly what you did. I didn't even have to finish the story. Nobody cared. Story was done there. What did you say? Sorry, go back. You saw two what? And he's like, yeah, I was coming into work this morning. I saw two mooses. So
Mooses.
everybody's laughing again, So I'm like, okay.
I could
And he's
just
just
see
like, yeah.
I could just see these guys' brains just going, "Oh man."
Yeah. So then obviously he's like, two mooses. Yeah, two mooses. Whoa, well, how big were the mooses? So he's like, oh man, so we just at that point, everybody just like dug in, right? Oh, people are just laughing. He just thought he never clued in. He never clued in. But you know what? That was his nickname, Mooses.
Mooses. That's like,
That's all they,
and he does.
out comes
And
the
I
label.
wonder when he figured it out. Eh? He's
Yeah,
like,
out comes
"How
the
come?
label maker,
How, how
Mooses.
come? Yeah, how come everyone calls me Mooses?" Yes, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Oh yeah. You got to explain it to him
Oh,
for sure, but it was
that
too late.
is that is pricey. You know what though? It's not the worst nickname. Like
No.
there's mean ones. I mean, there was a mean connotation in that one, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of put on, but yeah, like I've heard some nasty ones that I can't even repeat,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I didn't even, yeah, and and some of them, yeah, they they cause people to quit their jobs. They're so bad, and you know that wouldn't be tolerated now, and it shouldn't be. Like when they're mean, they shouldn't be. We
Oh
shouldn't
yeah.
treat people. We shouldn't treat people like that, right?
We could just fade out and have music.